Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to explore the answers for the questions that are appeared in AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam. So let's get started. Question number 1. A company needs to publish messages to thousands of its subscribers simultaneously using a push mechanism. So option A, AWS Step Function. Option B, Amazon Simple Workflow Service. Option C, Amazon Simple Notification Service. Option D, Amazon Simple Queue Service. So the right one is option C, that is Amazon Simple Notification Service, or which is also called as Amazon SNS. So Amazon SNS, it is a publisher or subscribe notification service that uses a push mechanism to publish the messages to multiple subscribers. Amazon SNS also enables you to send messages or notifications directly to users with SMS text messages to over 200 countries, mobile push on Apple, Android and other platform also, or through email services also. So SQS is incorrect. That is because SQS is a message queue service used for decoupling the applications, and SWF is a workflow orchestration service. It is not a messaging service. And AWS Step Function is a serverless workflow orchestration service for modern applications. So moving to question number 2. Question number 2. Which task can a user complete using AWS cost management tools? Option A, delete all of your AWS resources with a single click. Option B, create budgets and receive notifications if current or forecasted usage exceeds the budgets. Option C is launch either EC2 spot instances or on-demand instances based on the current pricing. Option D is move data stored in Amazon S3 standard to an archiving storage class to reduce the cost. So the answer for this question is second one, create budgets and receive notifications if current or forecasted usage exceeds the budgets. It is because the AWS cost management tool includes the services, tools, and resources to organize and track the cost and usage data, enhance control through consolidated billing and access permission. So it will enable better planning through budgeting and forecast. So this is the right one. Delete all of your AWS resources with a single click. This is incorrect because this can be done using a third-party tool, but not natively through the console. And launch either EC2 instance or on-demand instance based on current pricing is also wrong one, because the cost management tools do not integrate with the tools that are used to launch EC2 instances and cannot choose the best pricing plan. So, and last one, move data stored in Amazon S3 standard to an archiving storage class to reduce the cost. This one is incorrect because this is performed using a lifecycle management in Amazon S3. It is not a task performed by cost management tool. So moving into the question number 3. A cloud practitioner needs to migrate 70 TB of data from an on-premises data center into the cloud. The company has a slow and unreliable internet connection. Then which AWS service can the cloud practitioner leverage to transfer the data? Option A, Amazon S3 Glacier. Option B, AWS Snowball. Option C, AWS Storage Gateway. Option D, AWS Data Sync. So the right one for this answer is AWS Snowball. Why it is a correct one? It's because AWS Snowball is a method of transferring the data using a physical device. Okay? A Snowball device can hold up to 80 TB of data, and this transfer method completely avoids the slow and unreliable internet connection. So the correct answer is AWS Snowball. So AWS Glacier, this option is wrong because Glacier is used for archiving the data in the cloud, and AWS Storage Gateway is incorrect because it is a service that offers options for connecting the on-premises storage into the cloud. And AWS Data Sync is incorrect because it uses the internet connection to transfer the data, and you can utilize Snowcone, but that only holds up to 8 TB per device. Okay, but here we need 70 TB, so AWS Snowball is the correct answer. Moving into question number 4. AWS are able to continue to reduce their pricing due to pay-as-you-go pricing, the AWS global infrastructure, economies of scale, and or reserved instance pricing. The correct question for this one is economies of scale, because by using the cloud computing you can achieve a lower variable cost than you can get it on your own, because usage from thousands of customers is aggregated in the cloud. Providers such as AWS can achieve higher economies of scale. That is why economies of scale is the correct one. Global infrastructure is the incorrect answer because global infrastructure is the basis of the AWS platform, but it is not the reason prices continue to reduce. Okay, prices won't reduce over here. Pay as you go pricing is incorrect because this pricing model is benefit, but not the reason unit prices are reducing. It does not guarantee that the unit prices are reducing. Reserved instance pricing is incorrect because this pricing model results in saving for customers in specific area but not for overall reducing in prices. Question number 5. A cloud practitioner is re-architecturing a monolithic application. Which design principle for cloud architecture do AWS will recommend? We need to select two options over here. So options are implement manual scalability, implement loosely coupling, use self-managed servers, rely on individual components, or design for scalability. You need to choose two. So first correct answer is implement loosely coupling, and another one is design for scalability. As the dependencies such as queuing system, streaming system, workflows, and load balancer are loosely coupled will helps to isolate the behavior of a component from other components that depend on it, increasing the resiliency and agility. Okay, the rest are wrong. Like implement manual scalability is wrong because AWS do not recommend the manual processes. Everything should be automated over here. That is why it is the wrong one. Use self-managed servers. This is also incorrect because AWS do not recommend using self-managed servers. They always do recommend using the serverless services if you can. Rely on individual component. This is incorrect because this is not a best practice you should follow. You should never rely on the individual components. That is why this is the wrong one. Moving into the question number 6. Which of the following is an advantage for a company running workloads in the AWS cloud versus on-premises? We need to select two options over here. The options are less staff time is required to launch new workloads, increased time to market for new application features, higher acquisition cost to support elastic workloads, lower overall utilization of servers and storage systems, increased productivity for application development teams. So the correct answers are first one and last one. Lesser staff time is required to launch the new workloads and increase productivity for application development teams. Okay, by using the AWS cloud services, it helps the development teams to be more proactive and spend less time on the infrastructure as it maintains the infrastructure on their own. This is the correct one. Increased time to market for new application features is incorrect because AWS services should decrease time to market, not the increased time. Yeah. The second one, higher acquisition cost to support elastic workloads is incorrect because acquisition cost should be always lower. It should not be higher in AWS. And lower overall utilization of server and storage system is incorrect because this is not a benefit of moving into the cloud, right? That's why. Question number 7. A company requires a dashboard for reporting when using a business intelligence solution. Which AWS service can a cloud practitioner can use? So options are Amazon Redshift, Amazon Kinesis, Amazon Athena, Amazon QuickSight. So the correct answer is Amazon QuickSight. Amazon QuickSight is a scalable serverless embedded machine learning powered business intelligence service unit which is built on the cloud. It lets us to create and publish interactive BI dashboards that include machine learning powered insights. QuickSight dashboards can be accessed from any device and seamlessly embedded into your applications, portals, and websites. So that's why Amazon QuickSight is the correct answer. And Amazon Redshift is incorrect because Redshift is the data warehouse solution. It's not a dashboard. It won't show you the dashboards. That's why it is the wrong one. Amazon Kinesis is wrong because this is a service for collecting the streaming data. Continuous flow of data it will collect. That's why it is not a reporting tool. The Amazon Athena is incorrect because Athena is used for running SQL queries on data in Amazon S3, not for reporting. Moving into question number 8. A company has a website that delivers static content from an Amazon S3 bucket to users from around the world. Which AWS service will deliver the content with low latency? You need to deliver the content also with the low latency. with the static content from an Amazon S3. So correct answer is Amazon CloudFront, AWS Lambda, Amazon CloudFront, AWS Elastic Beanstalk, AWS Global Accelerator is the options. Among that, correct answer is Amazon CloudFront because it is a content delivery network and we can use as an Amazon S3 bucket configured, as a static website, as an origin for the content it catches globally. CloudFront reduces latency for global users by serving the request content from the local cache only. AWS Lambda is incorrect because it is a serverless compute service that runs code in response to trigger. When there is a trigger, it will respond back, right? And Elastic Beanstalk is incorrect because it is a platform as a service offering that is used to run the applications on the managed platform. So AWS Global Accelerator is wrong because it is used to direct traffic to the application endpoints in different regions using the AWS Global Network. It does not cache content and would not be used in front of an S3 bucket. So the question number 9. A user has an AWS account with business level AWS support plan and needs assistance with handling a production service disruption. Which action should the user should take? Options are contact the dedicated technical account manager, contact the dedicated AWS Congress support team, open a business critical system down support case, or open a production system down support case. The correct answer is open a production system down support case. The business support plan provides a service level agreement of 1 hour production system down support cases. They will support for the 1 hour production down systems. That is why open a production system down support case is the correct answer. Question number 10. According to the shared responsibility model, which security related task is the responsibility of the customer? Maintaining the server-side encryption, securing servers and racks at AWS data centers, maintaining firewall configurations at a hardware level, maintaining physical networking configuration. So the correct answer is maintaining server-side encryption because all client-side and server-side encryption is responsibility of the customer using the AWS cloud. So the customer responsibility is server-side encryption maintenance. So securing the servers and racks at AWS data center is incorrect because it's completely AWS responsibility. And maintaining the firewall configuration at the hardware level is incorrect because it is also AWS responsibility. Maintaining physical networking configuration is also AWS responsibility. Question 11. Under the AWS shared responsibility model, which of the following is an example of security in the AWS cloud? Managing the edge locations, physical security, firewall configuration, global infrastructure. So the correct answer is firewall configuration. Firewall configuration is an example of security in the cloud. This is the customer's responsibility, not an AWS responsibility, as all other options such as managing edge location, physical security, and global infrastructure are AWS responsibility. So they are the wrong options. Question 12. The ability to horizontally scale Amazon EC2 instances based on demand is an example of which concept? Economies of scale, elasticity, high availability, or agility. So the correct answer for this one is elasticity because elasticity is the ability to dynamically adjust the capacity of a service or a resource based on the demand. When the demand is high, it will provide high resources. When the demand is low, it will reduce the resources. There is a elasticity is there. So the scaling can be vertical or horizontal. Okay. Economy of scale is the incorrect answer because this refers to the pricing benefit they are providing to us. And high availability is incorrect because the resilience, it is related to the resilience and ensuring the system remain accessible during the failures. High availability means during our failures it will provide in the system. Agility is wrong because it refers to the flexibility and speed of implementation, not scaling capacity. Question 13. Which AWS service or feature can be used to restrict the individual API actions that users and roles in each member account can access? Options are Amazon Mackey, AWS Organizations, AWS Shield, AWS IAM. Correct answer is AWS Organization. AWS Organization offers service control policies, which are the type of organization policy that you can use to manage the permissions in your organization. So organization permissions can be managed over here. It will offer central control over the maximum available permission, API action and all, for all the accounts in your organization. That's why AWS organization is the correct one. Amazon Mac is incorrect. It is a fully managed data security and data privacy service. AWS Shield is wrong because AWS Shield is a service that protects workloads against distributed denial of service attacks, DDoS attacks, which we call. IAM is incorrect because it is used for assigning permissions, but SCPs in AWS organizations are used to control which API actions are allowed in an account. Moving to question number 14. A manager is planning to migrate applications to the AWS cloud and needs to obtain the AWS compliance report. So how can he this report he can generate? Options are download the reports from the AWS Secrets Manager, contact the AWS compliance team, create a support ticket with the AWS support, or download the reports from the AWS artifact. Correct answer is download the reports from the AWS artifact. So AWS artifact is your go-to central resource for compliance related information. It will provide on-demand access to AWS security and compliance report and select online agreements also. So rest all are will not provide the compliance report. When there is a question with AWS compliance report generation, it will be always AWS artifact. Question number 15. Which of the following statement is correct about Amazon S3 cross-region replication? Options are both source and destination S3 bucket must have versioning disabled. Option B, the resource and destination S3 bucket cannot be in different AWS regions. S3 bucket configured for cross-origin replication can be owned by a single AWS account or by different accounts. And the last option is the source S3 bucket owner must have the source and destination AWS regions disabled for their account. The correct answer is S3 bucket configured for cross-region replication can be owned by a single AWS account or by different AWS account. Rest all the options are wrong. Okay, here both source and destination S3 bucket must have versioning disabled. This is wrong because versioning must be enabled on both buckets for applications to work. That's why. And the source and destination S3 bucket cannot be in different AWS region because the whole purpose of cross region replication is to replicate the data across different regions. That is why this is the wrong one. The source S3 bucket owner must have the source and destination AWS region disabled for their account is incorrect because region must be enabled. It should not be disabled in your application for application to function. Question number 16. How can a company separate cost for storage, Amazon EC2, Amazon S3 and other AWS service based on the department? Options are add department specific tag to each the resources. Option B, create a separate VPC for each department. Option C, create a separate AWS account for each department. Option D, using the AWS organizations. Correct answer is add department specific tag to each resource so that based on that department tag, when you want to build that department, you want to check which resources are used by the department, you can just enter that tag and you will get all the details. Okay, a tag is a label that you or AWS assigns to an AWS resource. Each tag will consist of a key and value. You can use the tags to organize your resources and cost allocation tag also for the tracking purpose to track your AWS cost on a detailed level. Okay. Question 17. Which AWS service can be used as infrastructure automation tools? We need to select two options. Options are AWS CloudFormation, Amazon CloudFront, AWS Batch, AWS OpsWorks, Amazon QuickSight. So the correct answers are AWS CloudFormation and AWS OpsWorks. So AWS CloudFormation provides common language to model and provision AWS and third-party resources, whereas AWS OpsWorks is a configuration management service that provides managed instance of Chef and Puppet. So these two are the correct one. So Amazon CloudFront is wrong. It is a content delivery network we have discussed earlier. It's not an automation tool. AWS batch is incorrect because it's a batch computing workload service. It's not an infrastructure automation. QuickSight is, we have already discussed, it is a reporting tool used for business intelligence and analytics. It's not for infrastructure automation. Question number 18. A company needs protection from distributed denial of service DDoS attacks on its website and assistance from AWS experts during such events. Which AWS managed service will meet these requirements? So we need to protect the resource from DDoS attacks. Options are AWS Shield Advanced, AWS Firewall Manager, AWS Web Application Firewall, AWS Guard Duty. So the correct answer is AWS Shield Advanced. When we want to protect our resources from DDoS attacks, then we always use the AWS Shield or AWS Shield Advanced. The Firewall Manager, it will protects against common web exploits, not the DDoS attacks. Amazon Guard Duty is incorrect because it is a threat detection service that monitors for malicious activity but does not provide DDoS attacks. Moving into question number 19. A cloud practitioner requires point-in-time recovery for an Amazon DynamoDB table. Who is responsible for configuring and performing the backups? Options are AWS is responsible for both the tasks, the customer is responsible for configuring, and AWS is responsible for performing backups. Option C, the customer is responsible for both the tasks. Option D, AWS is responsible for configuring and the user is responsible for performing the backups. The correct answer is second one. The customer is responsible for configuring and AWS is responsible for taking the backups. So recovery is very important. So AWS will be responsible for taking the backups and customer is responsible for ensuring the configuration is correct. Okay. Question 20. Which AWS support plan provides access to architectural and operational reviews as well as 24/7 access to cloud support engineers through email, online chat and phone? Options are basic plan, business, developer or enterprise plan. Correct answer is enterprise. Only the enterprise plan provides well-architectured reviews and operational review. 24/7 they will provide access to cloud support engineers through email, online chat and phone, which is included. So the incorrect is basic because it will include only access to customer service and documentation. That's it. So business plan is incorrect because it will offer 24/7 support. It does not include operational reviews. Okay. Developer is incorrect because this plan provides limited support, mainly during the business hours, and it is intended for non-production workloads also. Question number 21. AWS allows users to manage their resources using a web-based user interface. So what is the name of this interface? AWS CLI, AWS API, AWS SDK or AWS Management Console? Correct answer is AWS Management Console because the AWS Management Console is a web-based graphical interface that allows user to manage AWS resources easily. It provides dashboards, configuration options, and monitoring tools without requiring command line or programmatic access. So AWS CLI is incorrect because this is a command line tool for managing the AWS services. And AWS API is incorrect because APIs allow programmatic access to AWS services, not a web interface. AWS SDK is incorrect because it is language specific libraries to interact with the programs. Okay, so correct answer is AWS Management Console. Question 22. Which of the following is an example of horizontal scaling in the AWS cloud? Replacing an existing EC2 instance with the larger, more powerful one. And second option, increasing the computer capacity of a single EC2 instance to address the growing demands of an application. Option C, adding more RAM capacity to an EC2 instance. Option D, adding more EC2 instances of the same size to handle an increase in traffic. So the correct answer is adding more EC2 instances of the same size to handle an increase in traffic. So horizontal scaling means adding more resources of the same type, multiple EC2 instances for example, to distribute the workloads and handle the increasing demand. Okay, and all other options are example of vertical scaling or horizontal. Question number 23. You have noticed that several critical Amazon EC2 instances have been terminated. Which of the following AWS service would help you to determine who took this action? Options are Amazon Inspector, AWS Cloud Trial, AWS Trusted Advisor, EC2 Instance Usage Report. So the correct answer is AWS Cloud Trial. So AWS Cloud Trial records API calls and action taken within your AWS account. It provides the detailed logs that show you who performed an action, when it was performed, and from where. So you will came to know who performed that action, at what timing also it will tell, making it the right service to identify who terminated the EC2 instance. So by this way, we will came to know who terminated the EC2 instance. So Amazon Inspector is incorrect. This option is incorrect because it is used for security assessments of our application, not for tracking the user action. AWS Trusted Advisor is incorrect because it provides best practice recommendation for cost optimization, performance, and security. EC2 instance usage report is incorrect because it shows the usage and billing information. It will not tell who have terminated the instance. Yes? So the correct answer is AWS Cloud Trial. Moving into question number 24. Which of the following options are related to reliability of AWS? We need to choose two options. Options are applying the principle of least privilege to all AWS resources. Option B, automatically provisioning new resources to meet the demand. Option C, all AWS services are considered global services and this design helps the customer serve their international users. Option D, providing compensation to customers if issues occurs. Option D, ability to recover from failure. So the correct answer is B and E, automatically provisioning new resources to meet demand and ability to recover quickly from failure. These are the two options for reliability. So applying the principle of least privileges is incorrect because this is related to the security, not reliability. AWS services are considered global services is incorrect. All AWS services. This is because not all AWS services are global. Many are regional also. That's why this is incorrect. Providing compensation to customers if issues occur is incorrect because compensation is a business practice, not a technical reliability feature. That's why. So question 25. Which statement is true regarding AWS shared responsibility model? Options are responsibilities vary depending on the services used. Second option, security of the IaaS services is the responsibility of AWS. Patching the guest operating system is always the responsibility of AWS. The last option is security of the managed service is the responsibility of the customer. So the correct answer is responsibilities vary depending on the services that we use. So AWS shared responsibility model divides the security related responsibilities between AWS and customer. Both are responsible. AWS is responsible for few and the customer is responsible for few securities. The exact responsibility vary depending on whether a service is infrastructure as a service or platform as a service or software as a service. Question number 26. AWS allows user to manage their resources using a web-based user interface. What is the name of this interface? Options are AWS CLI, AWS API, AWS SDK, AWS Management Console. So the correct answer is AWS Management Console. It is a web-based graphical interface that allows user to manage the AWS resources easily. Question number 27. Which of the following is an example of horizontal scaling in the AWS cloud? Options A. Replacing an existing EC2 with the larger, more powerful one. Option B. Increasing the compute capacity of a single EC2 instance to address the growing demand of an application. Option C. Adding more RAM capacity to an EC2 instance. Option D. Adding more EC2 instances of the same size to handle an increase in traffic. The correct answer is option D. Adding more EC2 instances of the same size to handle an increase in traffic. Question number 28. You have noticed that several critical Amazon EC2 instances have been terminated. Which of the following AWS service would help you to determine who took this action? Options are option A. Amazon Inspector, option B. AWS Cloud Trail, option C. AWS Trusted Advisor, option D. EC2 Instance Usage Report. So the correct answer is AWS Cloud Trail. If you want to check the reason why others are incorrect, you can go through these incorrect ones. Moving into question number 29. Which of the following options are related to the reliability of AWS? We need to choose any two options. Option A. Applying the principle of least privilege to all AWS resources. Option B. Automatically provisioning new resources to meet the demand. Option C. All AWS services are considered global services, and this design helps customers to serve their international users. Option D. Providing compensation to customers if issues occurs. Option E. Ability to recover quickly from failure. So we need to select any two from this one. Yeah, the correct answers are automatically provisioning new resources to meet the demand and ability to recover quickly from the failures. Moving into question number 30. Which statement is true regarding AWS shared responsibility model? Options are option A. Responsibilities vary depending on the services used. Option B. Security of the IaaS services is the responsibility of AWS. Option C. Patching the guest operating system guest OS is always the responsibility of AWS. Option D. Security of the managed services is the responsibility of the customer. You need to select which one is true. So the correct answer is responsibilities that will vary depending on the services that will be used by the user. So few will be AWS share and few will be customer. That is depending on the responsibilities. Question number 31. You have a setup considered billing for several AWS accounts. One of the accounts has purchased a number of reserved instances for 3 years. Which of the following is true regarding this scenario? Option A. The reserved instance discounts can only be shared with the master account. Option B. All accounts can receive the hourly cost benefit of the reserved instances. Option C. The purchased instances will have better performance than on-demand instances. Option D. There are no cost benefit from using consolidated billing. It is for information purposes only. So the correct answer regarding this one is all accounts can receive the hourly benefit of the reserved instances. So reserved instance is the correct answer. Moving into question number 32. A company has developed an e-commerce web application in AWS. What should they do to ensure that the application has the highest level of availability? Option A. Deploy the application across multiple availability zones and edge locations. Option B. Deploy the application across multiple availability zone and subnets. Option C. Deploy the application across multiple regions and availability zones. Option D. Deploy the application over multiple VPCs and subnets. So the correct answer is deploy the application across multiple regions and the availability zones. Moving into question number 33. What does AWS Snowball provide? You need to choose two options. Option A. Built-in computing capabilities that will allow customers to process the data locally. Option B. A catalog of third-party software solutions that customers need to build solutions and to run their businesses. Option C. A hybrid cloud storage between on-premises environment and the AWS cloud. Option D, an exabyte scale data transfer service that will allow you to move extremely large amount of data to the AWS. Option E, secure transfer of large amount of data into and out of the AWS. So we need to choose any two. The correct answers are option A and E. Built-in computing capabilities that allow customers to process the data locally and secure transfer of large amount of data into and out of the AWS. Moving into question number 34. A company has an AWS enterprise support plan. They want quick and efficient guidance with their billing and account inquiries. Which of the following should the company use? Option A, AWS Health Dashboard. Option B, AWS Support Congress Team. Option C, AWS Customer Service Team. Option D, AWS Operations Support Team. So the correct answer is AWS Support Congress. It will provide personal assistance for billing and account inquiries. Question number 35. A Japanese company hosts their application on Amazon EC2 instances. In the Tokyo region, the company has opened new branches in the United States and the US. Users are complaining of high latency. What can the company do to reduce the latency from the user in the US while minimizing the cost? So options A, applying the Amazon Connect latency-based routing policy. Option B, registering a new US domain name to serve the users in the US. Option C, building a new data center in the US and implementing a hybrid model. Option D, deploying new Amazon EC2 instances in a region located in the US. So correct answer is deploying a new EC2 instance in a region which is located in the US. Question number 36. An organization has a large number of technical employees who operate their AWS cloud infrastructure. What does AWS provide to help organize them into teams and then assign the appropriate permission for each team? So options are option A, IAM roles, option B, IAM users, option C, IAM user group, option D, AWS organization. So the correct answer is IAM user groups. Question number 37. A company has decided to migrate its Oracle database to AWS. Which AWS service can help achieve this without negatively impacting the functionality of the source database? Option A, AWS OpsWorks. Option B, AWS Database Migration Service. Option C, AWS Server Migration Service. Option D, AWS Application Discovery Service. Correct answer is AWS Database Migration Service. Question number 38. Adjusting compute capacity dynamically to reduce the cost is an implementation of which AWS cloud best practices? Option A, build security in every layer. Option B, parallelize tasks. Option C, implement elasticity. Option D, adopt monolithic architecture. So the correct answer is implementing the elasticity. The correct one. Question number 39. What are the benefits of having infrastructure hosted in AWS? We need to choose two options. Option A, increasing speed and agility. Option B, there is no need to worry about the security. Option C, gaining complete control over the physical infrastructure. Option D, operating applications on behalf of the customers. Option E, all of the physical security and most of the data or security, network security are taken care for you. So the correct answer is increasing the speed and agility, and all of the physical security and most of the data or network security are taken care for you. Question number 40. What is the advantage of the AWS recommended practice of decoupling the applications? Option A, allows treating an application as a single cohesive unit. Option B, reduces interdependencies so that failures do not impact other components of the application. Option C, allows updates of any monolithic application quickly and easily. Option D, allows tracking of an API call made to any AWS service. So the correct answer is reduces the interdependency so that the failures do not impact other components of our application. This is the correct one. Question 41. Which of the following helps a customer view the Amazon EC2 billing activity for the past month? Option A, AWS budget. Option B, AWS pricing calculator. Option C, AWS System Manager. Option D, AWS Cost and Usage Report. The correct answer is AWS Cost and Usage Report. Question 42. What do you gain from setting up consolidated billing for 5 different AWS accounts under another master account? Option A, AWS services cost will be reduced to half of the original price. Option B, the consolidated billing feature is just for organizational purpose. Option C, each AWS account gets volume discount. Option D, each AWS account gets 5 times the pre-tier services capacity. So the correct answer is each AWS account gets volume discounts. Question 43. What should you do in order to keep the data on EBS volumes safe? You need to choose the two options. Option A, regularly update the firmware on EBS devices. Option B, create EBS snapshots. Option C, ensure that EBS data is encrypted at rest. Option D, store a backup data daily in an external drive. Option E, prevent any unauthorized access to the AWS data center. So correct options are create EBS snapshots for backups and ensure that EBS data is encrypted at rest for security encryption. Question 44. One of the most important AWS best practices to follow is the cloud architecture principle of elasticity, right? How does this principle improve your architectural design? Option A, by automatically scaling your on-premises resources based on changes in demand. Option B, by automatically scaling your AWS resources using an elastic load balancer. Option C, by reducing interdependencies between application components wherever as possible. Option D, by automatically provisioning the required AWS resources based on changes in demand. So the correct answer is last one, by automatically provisioning the required AWS resources based on the changes in demand. Whenever we need more resources, it will provide more elasticity features will be there based on the demand. Question number 45. A startup company is operating on limited funds and is extremely concerned about cost overruns. Which of the following option can be used to notify the company when their monthly AWS bill exceeds $2,000? You need to choose two options. Option A, set up a CloudWatch billing alarm that triggers an SMS notification when the threshold is exceeded. Option B, configure the Amazon simple email service to send billing alerts to their email address on a daily basis. Option C, configure the AWS budget service to alert the company when the threshold is exceeded. Option D, configure the AWS Cloud Trial to automatically delete all the resources when the threshold is exceeded. Option E, configure the Amazon Connect service to alert the company when the threshold is exceeded. Correct answer are A and C. Set up in the CloudWatch billing alarm to trigger the SMS notification when the threshold is exceeded, and configure the AWS budget service that will also send the alert to the company when the threshold is exceeded. So, question number 46. What does Amazon CloudFront use to distribute the content to global users with low latency? Option A, AWS Global Accelerator. Option B, AWS Regions. Option C, AWS Edge Location. Option D, AWS Availability Zone. The correct answer is AWS Edge Location, used for content delivery across the globe. Question 47. What does the principle of least privilege refers to? Option A, you should grant your users only the permission they need when they need them and nothing more. Option B, all IAM users should have at least the necessary permission to access the core AWS services. Option C, all trusted IAM users should have access to any AWS service irrespective of their AWS account. Option D, IAM users should not be granted any permission to keep your account safe. The correct answer is you should grant your users only the permission that they require to do the basic operations. That's it, and nothing more. Question 48. Which of the following does not belong to the AWS cloud computing models? Option A, platform as a service, PaaS, infrastructure as a service, software as a service. Option D, networking as a service. It does not belong to the AWS cloud computing model. Answer is networking as a service, NAAS. It is not a part of AWS cloud computing model. Question 49. The identification process of an online financial services company requires that new users must complete an online interview with their security team. The completed recorded interviews are only required in the event of a legal issue or a regulatory compliance breach. What is the most effective, cost-effective service to store the recorded videos? Option A, S3 Intelligence Tiering. Option B, AWS Marketplace. Option C, Amazon S3 Glacier Deep Archive. And option D, Amazon EBS. So the correct answer is Amazon S3 Glacier Deep Archive. Question 50. Which service provides DNS in the AWS cloud? Option A, Route 53. Option B, AWS Config. Option C, Amazon CloudFront. Option D, Amazon EMR. So the correct answer is Route 53. Yeah, continuing our session. So it will be question number 51. A developer needs to set up an SSL security certificate for a client's e-commerce website in order to use the HTTPS protocol. Okay. So which of the following AWS service can be used to deploy the required SSL server certificates? So we need to choose two options. So options are Amazon Route 53, AWS ACM, AWS Directory Service, AWS Identity and Access Management, AWS Data Pipeline. So the correct answers are Amazon Route 53 and AWS ACM. So here I have mentioned why it is a correct answer and why the other options are incorrect. You can go through it. Okay, moving into the question number 52. Which of the following AWS service scale automatically without your intervention? So you need to choose two options over here also. So options are Amazon EC2, Amazon S3, AWS Lambda, Amazon EMR, Amazon EBS. Correct answers are Amazon S3 and AWS Lambda. Okay. So question number 53. A company is planning to migrate an application from Amazon EC2 to AWS Lambda to use a serverless architecture. So which of the following will be the responsibility of AWS after the migration? Here also you need to choose two options. So the options are application management, capacity management, access control, operating system maintenance, and data management. So the correct answers are capacity management and operating system maintenance. So all others are incorrect. Question number 54. How do ELBs improve the reliability of your application? Options are by disturbing the traffic across multiple S3 buckets, by replicating data to multiple availability zones, by creating database RAID replicas, by ensuring that only healthy targets receive the traffic. So we need to choose only one option over here. Yeah, the correct answer is by ensuring that only healthy targets will receive the traffics. Question number 55. A company needs to migrate their website from an on-premises to AWS. Okay, so the security is a major concern for them. So they need to host their website on hardware that is not shared with other AWS customers. So which of the following EC2 instance options meets this requirement? So options are on-demand instances, option B, spot instances, option C, dedicated instances, and option D, reserved instances. So the correct answer is dedicated instances. So they will be physically isolated from AWS or other AWS customers. So it will be ensuring the workloads to be hosted on the server. So dedicated instances are the correct answer. Yeah. Question number 56. A customer is planning to move billions of images and videos to be stored on Amazon S3. The customer has approximately 60 petabytes of data to be moved. So which of the following AWS service is the best choice to transfer the data to AWS? Options are Snowball, S3 Transfer Acceleration, Snowmobile, Amazon VPC. Correct answer is Snowmobile. Going into question number 7. A company plans to migrate a large amount of archived data to AWS. The archived data must be maintained for a period of 5 years and it must be retrieved within 5 hours of the placing the request. So what is the most cost-effective AWS storage service to use? The options are Amazon S3 Glacier, Amazon EFS, Amazon S3 Standard, Amazon EBS. So the correct answer is Amazon S3 Glacier. Here we can store large amount of data and can be retrieved within the 5 hours of the request. Question number 58. Which AWS service is used to manage the user permissions? So options are security groups, Amazon ECS, AWS IAM, AWS support. So the correct answer is IAM, AWS IAM. It is used to manage the permission that will be assigned to the user. Question number 59. Which support plan includes the AWS support concrete services? Options are premium support, business support, enterprise support, and standard support. So the correct answer is enterprise support, which will provide the concrete support team. So moving on to the question number 16. A company needs to track the resource changes using the API call history. Which AWS service can help the company achieve this goal? Options are AWS Config, Amazon CloudWatch, AWS Cloud Trial, AWS Cloud Formation. So the correct answer is AWS Cloud Trial, which will track the and records the API calls made to our AWS account. Question 61. Which are the benefits of using the AWS managed services? We need to choose the two options over here. The options are option A provides complete control over to the virtual infrastructure. Option B allows customer to deliver new solutions faster. Option C lowers the operational complexity. Option D eliminates the need to encrypt the data. Option E allows developer to control all patching related activities. So the correct answers are it will allows customer to deliver the new solutions very faster, and it will lowers the operational complexity as well. Moving into question number 62. Which of the following are use cases for Amazon S3? Here also you need to choose two options. So option A, hosting static website. Option B, hosting website that requires sustained high CPU utilization. Option C, cost-effective database and log storage. Option D, a media store for the CloudFront service. Option E, processing data streams at any scale. So the correct answers are hosting the static websites, that is one, and another one is a media store for the CloudFront service. Moving into question number 63. What is the AWS recommendation regarding the access keys? The options are delete all access keys and use the password instead. Option B, only share them with the trusted people. Option C, rotate them regularly. And option D, save them within your application code. The correct answer is rotate the keys regularly so that it won't be violate the security. Moving to question number 64. What is the AWS IAM feature that provides an additional layer of security on top of the username and password authentication? Options are key pair, access keys, SDK, MFA. Correct answer is MFA. MFA is a multi-factor authentication. Question number 65. What is the benefit of using API to access the AWS services? Options are it improves the performance of AWS resources. It reduces the time needed to provision the AWS resources. It reduces the number of developers necessary, and it allows for programmatic management of AWS resources. So the correct answer is it allows for programmatic management of AWS resources. Question number 66. A company is planning to migrate a database with a high read or write activity to AWS. So what is the best storage option to use? Options are AWS Storage Gateway, Amazon S3, Amazon EBS, Amazon Glacier. So the correct answer is Amazon EBS, Elastic Block Storage. Moving into question number 67. What is the AWS service that provides 5 times the performance of a standard MySQL database? Option A, Amazon Aurora. Option B, Amazon Redshift. Option C, Amazon DynamoDB. Option D, Amazon Neptune. The correct answer is Amazon Aurora. Moving into question number 68. What does AWS Service Catalog provide? Option A, it enables the customer to quickly find the descriptions and use cases for AWS services. Option B, it enables customer to explore the different catalog of AWS services. Option C, it simplifies organizing and governing the commonly deployed IT services. Option D, it allows developer to deploy the infrastructure on AWS using familiar programming languages. So the correct answer is it simplifies organizing and governing commonly deployed IT services. Moving into question number 69. For managed services like Amazon DynamoDB, so which of the below is AWS responsible for in Amazon DynamoDB? So you need to choose two options over here. Options are protecting the credentials, logging access activity, patching the database software, operating system maintenance, creating access policies. So the correct answer are patching the database software and operating system maintenance. Moving into question number 70. Which of the following AWS services helps with the planning application migration to the AWS cloud? The options are option A, AWS Snowball Migration Service, option B, AWS Application Discovery Service, option C, AWS DMS, option D, AWS Migration Hub. Correct answer is AWS Application Discovery Service. Moving into question number 71. A company is trying to analyze the cost applied to their AWS account recently. Which of the following provides them the most granular data about their AWS cost and usage? So options are Amazon Machine Image, AWS Cost Explorer, AWS Cost and Usage Report, and Amazon CloudWatch. We need to select only one. So the correct answer is AWS Cost and Usage Report. Question number 72. A company has discovered that multiple S3 buckets were deleted, but it is unclear who deleted the bucket. So which of the following can be the company used to determine the identity that deleted the buckets? Options are SNS logs, SQS logs, CloudWatch logs, CloudTrail logs. So the correct answer is CloudTrail logs, which will provide the API call record to the AWS account. Moving into question number 73. Which of the following are factors in determining the appropriate database technology to use for a specific workload? Choose two options over here. The options are availability zones, data sovereignty, the number of reads and writes per second, the nature of queries, software bugs. So the correct answer are the number of reads and writes per second, the nature of the queries. Moving into question number 74. What are AWS shared controls? Option A, control that solely the responsibility of the customer based on the application they are deploying within the AWS services. Option B, control that customer inherits from AWS. Option C, controls that apply to both infrastructure layer and customer layer. Option D, controls that the customer and AWS collaborate together upon securing the infrastructure. So the correct answer is controls that the customer and AWS collaborate together upon to secure the infrastructure. Question number 75. Which design principle relate to performance efficiency in AWS? We need to choose two options over here. Option A, build multi-region architecture to better serve the global customers. Option B, apply security at all the layers. Option C, implement the strong identity and access controls. Option D, use serverless architecture. Option E, enable audit logging. So the correct answer is build multi-region architecture to better serve the global customers and use serverless architectures. Question number 76. A company has a website that delivers static content from an Amazon S3 bucket to users from around the world. So which of this AWS service will deliver the content with low latency? Options are AWS Lambda, Amazon CloudFront, AWS Elastic Beanstalk, AWS Global Accelerator. So the correct answer is Amazon CloudFront. It is a content delivery network. It caches the content at edge locations worldwide. So we have given the correct answers and its explanation, and incorrect answers why it is wrong. It's also we have given. So if you want, you can go through. You can pause the video and you can go through. Moving into question number 77. A user has an AWS account with the business level AWS support plan, and he needs the assistance with handling the production service disruption. So which action should the user take? We need to select one option. So the options are contact the dedicated technical account manager. Option B, contact the dedicated AWS Congress support team. Option C, open a business critical system down support case. Option D, open a production system down support case. So the correct answer is open a production system down support case. Going into question number 78. According to the shared responsibility model, which security related risk is the responsibility of the customer? Maintaining the server-side encryption, securing servers and rack at AWS data centers, maintaining firewall configurations at hardware level, maintaining physical networking configuration. Correct answer is maintaining the server-side encryption. So customer must secure their data by managing the encryption. Moving into question number 79. Under the AWS shared responsibility model, which of the following is an example of security in the AWS cloud? Whether it is managing the locations, physical security, firewall configuration, or global infrastructure. Correct answer is firewall configuration. So customer must configure their security groups, ACLs and firewalls for the security purpose. Question number 80. The ability to horizontally scale Amazon EC2 instance based on demand is an example of which concept? Options are economy of scale, elasticity, high availability, agility. Correct answer is elasticity. Question number 81. Which AWS service or feature can be used to restrict the individual API actions that a user and roles in each member account can access? Options are Amazon Mackie, AWS Organizations, AWS Shield, AWS IAM. So the correct answer is AWS Organization. They will provide the service control policies. Question number 82. How can a company separate cost for storage, Amazon EC2, Amazon S3 and other AWS services by department wise? Okay. Options are option A, add department specific tag to each resource. Option B, create a separate VPC for each department. Option C, create a separate AWS account for each department. Option D, use AWS organization. So the correct answer is add department specific tags to each the resources. So tags let the companies to track the cost per department in billing reports for clear visibility purpose. Question number 83. Which AWS service can be used as infrastructure automation tools? We need to select two options over here. Options are option A, AWS CloudFormation, Amazon CloudFront, AWS Batch, AWS OpsWorks, Amazon QuickSight. So the correct answers are AWS CloudFormation and AWS OpsWorks. AWS CloudFormation automates the resource provisioning with templates. AWS OpsWorks uses the Chef for Puppet for server configuration and management purpose. Question number 84. A company needs protection from distributed denial of service (DDoS) attacks on its website and assistance from AWS expert during such event. So which AWS managed service will meet these requirements? Options are AWS Shield Advanced, AWS Firewall Manager, AWS Web Application Firewall, Amazon Guard Duty. So the correct answer is AWS Shield Advanced, which will protect from AWS DDoS attacks. Question number 85. Which AWS support plan provides access to architectural and operational reviews as well as 24/7 access to cloud support engineers through email, online chat and phone? The options are basic, business, developer and enterprise, and the correct answer is enterprise, which provides the 24/7 support, TAM access and reviews for architecture and operations. Question number 86. Where can you store the files in AWS? We need to choose two options. There are multiple ways to store the files in AWS. Options are Amazon EFS, Amazon SNS, Amazon EBS, Amazon ECS, Amazon EMR. So the correct answers are Amazon EFS and EBS. EFS stands for Elastic File System, which will store the data in the form of a file. EBS is a block storage, which stores the large volumes for EC2 instance. Question number 87. Which AWS service can be used to store and reliably deliver the messages across the distributed systems? Options are Amazon Simple Queue Service, AWS Storage Gateway, Amazon Simple Email Service, Amazon Simple Storage Service. The correct answer is Amazon Simple Queue Service, which is also called as SQS, which is a queuing system for the messages. What is the primary storage service used by Amazon RDS database instances? Options are Amazon Glacier, Amazon EFS, Amazon EFS, EBS and Amazon S3. So the correct answer is Amazon EBS. EBS stands for Elastic Block Store, which will be used by RDS database. Question number 89. Which AWS service should be used to troubleshoot these issues? Options are AWS Code Pipeline, AWS X-Ray, Amazon Inspector, AWS Cloud Trial. So the correct answer is AWS X-Ray. It is a tool for tracing the request latency and errors to debug the distributed applications. Okay. Question number 90. Which of the following AWS service is designed with native multi A to Z fault tolerance in mind? You need to choose the two options over here. So the options are Amazon Redshift, AWS Snowball, Amazon Simple Storage Service, Amazon EBS, Amazon DynamoDB. So the correct answers are Amazon Simple Storage Service and Amazon DynamoDB. Question number 91. An organization runs many systems and uses many AWS products. So which of the following service enables them to control how each developer interact with these products? Options are AWS Identity and Access Management, Amazon RDS, Network Access Control List, Amazon EMR. We need to choose the one option over here. So the correct answer is AWS Identity and Access Management. Through IAM, the system AWS service, we can track the flow of the system. Question 92. Using Amazon EC2 falls under which of the following cloud computing models? So options are IaaS and SAS, that is SAS, or IaaS or SaaS or PaaS. So the correct answer is IaaS, Infrastructure as a Service. So Amazon EC2 delivers the virtual servers, storage and networking, letting the customers to manage the OS and their applications easily. So question number 93. Your company is designing a new application that will store and retrieve the photos and videos. So which of the following services should you recommend as underlying storage mechanism? Options are Amazon EBS, Amazon SQS, Amazon Instant Store, Amazon S3. So the correct answer is Amazon S3. S3 stands for Simple Storage Service, which is a scalable, durable object storage ideal for photos, videos and backups. With the global availability will also be there. Going into question number 94. What is the AWS service that performs automated network assessments of Amazon EC2 instance to check for vulnerabilities? Options are Amazon Kinesis, Security Groups, Amazon Inspector, AWS Network Access Control List. The correct answer is Amazon Inspector. It is a security assessment service that scans your EC2 instances for vulnerabilities and insecurity configurations. Question number 95. A company needs to host a database in Amazon RDS for at least 3 years. So which of the following options would be the most cost-effective solution? Options are reserved instances, so where will be no upfront cost will be there. Reserved instances where partial upfront will be there. On-demand instances, and last option is spot instances. So the correct answer is reserved instances with a partial upfront. It will be best for 3-year RDS workloads, offering the major savings with the balanced upfront will be there and for ongoing payments also. Question number 96. What is the AWS tool that enables you to use script to manage all AWS services and resources? Options are AWS Console, AWS Service Catalog, AWS OpsWorks, and AWS CLI. So the correct answer is AWS CLI. CLI stands for Command Line Interface. So it is a unified tool that allows you to manage the AWS services and resources using the script and command line commands. Question number 97. Which of the following AWS offerings is a MySQL compatible relational database service that can scale capacity automatically based on the demand? It will scale the capacity based on the demand. So the options are Amazon Neptune, Amazon Aurora, Amazon RDS for SQL Server, Amazon RDS for PostgreSQL. The correct answer is Amazon Aurora. It is a MySQL and PostgreSQL compatible database that scales the storage based on the demand. So moving into question number 98. What is the AWS data warehouse service that supports a high-level query performance on large amount of data set? Options are Amazon Redshift, Amazon Kinesis, Amazon DynamoDB, Amazon RDS. The correct answer is Amazon Redshift. Moving into question number 99. Which of the following should be considered when performing TCO analysis to compare the cost of running an application on AWS instead of on-premises? So the options are application development, market research, business analysis, physical hardware. So the correct answer is physical hardware. Moving into the last question, that is question number 100. A company uses AWS organizations to manage all of its AWS accounts. So which of the following allows the company to restrict what services and actions are allowed in each individual account? The options are IAM principle, AWS service control policies, that is SCPs, Amazon policies, AWS IAM policies, AWS Forget. So the correct answer is AWS Service Control Policies, SCPs. So SCPs generally let organizations centrally restrict the services and actions across the AWS accounts. To stay updated and watch more related videos like this, do subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. Thank you for watching the video. Do check our playlist on AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner. Thank you.